子祥视角。
Hi, this is Sean. Well, today I'm going to tell you a rather sad story. I have a friend, Karen, and I got to know her through my friend Dr. Van Rieken. A few years ago, he started to take me to go shopping for Karen. She is a lady that grew up in a very tough situation, so we kind of go to her house to help her to clean the apartment every few months, and we also help to do some grocery shopping for her. That's how I got to know her. And every time I see her, even though she is living in a very tough situation, she has always been very cheerful. And she also loved to give me very sweet little gifts and the poems she wrote. I really think she was a wonderful lady with a very beautiful heart. Unfortunately, she was involved in a hit-and-run accident a few weeks ago on June the 1st, 2024. And that accident took her life. So I was very sad to hear that. And today, they have a celebration of life event for her. So just for those people who couldn't come here to attend the event in person, I thought it might be nice to shoot a little documentary so you can see how the event goes. All right, here we go.
Your story, the way that Karen touched your life, every one of our lives have that opportunity to touch someone else's life. So we're going to celebrate. That's what this all started. That's what this was going to be, a celebration of life. Sadness, absolutely. We know there's been many tears shed, and there will be still more tears. But the First Street, she stepped from 71st Street straight into the streets of God. And praise God for that. She had a personal relationship with God, with Jesus Christ. We're so glad that we could share that today. Just a few thoughts, and then our token. If you received a token or coins, I'm not saying not as many of us, okay? But that's why this here church, especially after she would come, she was saying all the time. She would come, she would write, pastor, myself, and she would do that. But what's more important than that is her name is Reffitt.
So my mom, every time that we would have Christmas together, she'd give a poem to everybody. So, and then also
Thank you.
gifts. Oh, you got one.
I got one.
So, I also have another prize. David!
Don't have to live that down.
Judy!
This is either a cigar or a nail filer.
I feel it, I'm not sure.
Debbie! Ruth!
All right.
Oh, I have this moisturizing lotion. It's awesome. I can use it.
Aveeno.
Yeah. Oh, you can use those nail filers. Or something.
Yeah, fine.
My toothpaste is almost out, I was thinking.
Flamingos are pink and neat. The way they walk is sweet. Bless you every day in a fabulous way.
Mine are birds. The doves are white and neat. The swans swim very sweet. Bless you every day in a beautiful way. The cardinal birds fly soft and free. The sparrows sing gracefully. Bless you every day in a powerful way.
The mountain stream flows so neat. The sparrow flies very sweet. Bless you every day on a fabulous way.
First crust, sweet. Bless you every day in a marvelous way.
The doves are white and neat, the swans swim very neat. Bless you every day in a precious way.
The garden roses are in array, their beauty brightens a day. Bless you every day in a powerful way.
The mountain streams flow so wide, the sparrows love to fly. Bless you every day in a marvelous way.
The violets are purple and fine, the sound of owls is kind. Bless you every day in a marvelous way.
The beach's sun rays flow so mild, the seabirds love to fly. Bless you every day in a powerful way.
Not only do things matter to other people, and that's a lesson that we all can take away, is that people are really, in the long run, really what matters. She wasn't guilty of discarding a whole lot. Neither was she guilty of discarding me.
I think we all have an incredible privilege today. All of us knew Karen in our own spheres. But when I look around and see how many have come to honor her, I realize again exactly what the pastor said, that one life can touch all kinds of people in the tiniest places and the unseen ways, even the silly ways, of all the little things that Karen did that gave us all joy. So it's an honor for me to be able to read her obituary. Karen Ann Reffitt, 72, passed away on June 1, 2024, due to a hit-and-run accident, leaving a legacy like no other. Amanda wrote this, and I thought, Amanda, that's the most beautiful piece of information, a way to say, talk about your mother's, a legacy like no other. That's true. Her friends and loved ones called her Miss Karen, or the State Fair Queen. She was born on September 30th, 1951 in Paterson, New Jersey, to Peter and Catherine Fursch Waski. Karen is survived by her son, Joseph Scott Reffitt, and daughter Amanda Grace Stephen Schwartz. She was preceded in death by her brother Daniel Waski, Uncle Frank, Linda Fursch, daughter Amanda Ann, and both parents. Karen studied for 2 years at Ivy Tech Community College, where she obtained a nurse aide license. Because of a mental problem created by a trauma that happened in childhood, she spent her life living on disability. Amazingly, and we all know this, Karen never let that disability stop her from emanating the light inside her to others, while also finding ways to meet her own needs. Spending time with her grown kids, going on daily walks in all types of weather, eating with friends and family, writing poetry or singing songs to put a smile on someone's face, and donating a widow's mite to different missionaries and organizations were all hallmarks of Karen's remarkable life. Her family circle was small, so she made the friends she met her family. While she loved Jesus and going to church, she had friends from many religions. Karen walked around Indianapolis pushing a baby stroller full of bags. What many didn't know was inside those bags were poems she wrote to hand out to people she encountered on her walks to brighten their day. We see them in full display there. Her mailbox was always full of responses to her poetry, letters, cards, and donations. Some people even responded to her poetry with poetry of their own, inspiring people to be creative just like her. Karen's significant life accomplishments include her poetry, being the State Fair Queen, self-appointed, and being a good mom. She did a pretty nice job at changing the name Karen to a positive one instead of a negative one. So, in a world of unkindness, don't forget her example and be a positive Karen. The State Fair Queen has officially retired.
And 34 years ago, I was working as a pediatrician in Wishart Hospital before it became Eskenazi Hospital. And a woman brought in a 4-year-old child named Amanda, and her name was Karen. And we struck it off, and I continued to follow Amanda through childhood, through elementary school, Covenant High School, and then finally Taylor University. By the time she got to Taylor, of course, she was out of my pediatric age range, and I didn't follow her after that, but we continued to be friends. In fact, even from the very first time that we met, I realized that Karen was a special person, and we connected with each other. And I have 3 daughters. My youngest daughter, Stephanie, is just a little bit older than Amanda. And we made it a point to do house calls every now and then on the Reffitt family. And we would bring food, and we would bring clothes for Amanda. And anyway, we became friends. In fact, it became such a thing that for the last 25 years, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock exactly sharp, no matter where in the world I was or whatever we were doing, Karen would call me and we would talk for 2 minutes. It was always the same thing. And we'd get through the routine, and the last thing she would say after 2 minutes is, I'm going to call you again next Tuesday night. I want to play a little thought game with you. I'm going to imagine that Karen had a website. And I'm going to imagine that Karen's website was labeled www.karenandreffitt.com. What I want to share with you are what those 3 W's are. The first W is worrywart. The second W is walker. And the third W is wonderful woman. I want to explain those 3 things. Karen was a worrywart. Every time when I talked with her, she had something to worry about. Where the next meal was coming from. Who's going to pay the rent the next time? How can she pass inspection when Kimberly comes by and inspects her apartment and finds out whether or not the apartment passes inspection? She was very worried about becoming homeless. She was worried about her children. She was worried about the weather. She was worried about taking a bus downtown. Whatever it was, she was a very anxious lady who was able to express some of these worries and worries that she had that were insurmountable. They happened all the time. They possessed her life, all her worries. So she was a worrywart. She also was a walker. Who else would walk 2.2 miles to deposit a check at Fifth Third Bank and come all the way back after that? Or walk 1.3 miles every Friday to go work at a daycare center in the Muslim community? Or just one time she had a paper route. It wasn't really paper, it was a flyer with advertisements. And they would give her 1,000 of these flyers and say, put them on the door all the way up and down Lafayette. She'd walk 6 miles. It'd take her 4 hours to do it. Of course, she made friends along the way. People knew who she was. Many of them welcomed her or gave her something to drink, as she was, depending on the weather. But it turned out that they paid her like $6 to do that work of distributing flyers, advertisements up and down the street. And she did it until her feet gave out, and then she had difficulty walking on that. She had to give up her paper route. So she was a walker. I remember too helping Lonnie, who was her ex-husband. He lived 3.5 miles away from where she lived at one apartment that she was in. But she cared for him enough that 3 times a week she would walk the 3.5 miles and go visit Lonnie, make sure that he was okay, make sure he had puzzles to make and food to eat and stuff like that. And then she would walk back 3.5 miles. She was a walker. And the last thing was she was a wonderful woman, despite the fact that she lost both parents before the age of 17 and had a lot of trauma related to that as to where she would live and how she would do things. She actually, by writing poems and by being willing to sing and to share her love and enthusiasm for other people, she was able to bring lots of sparkle to lots of lives. And so I remember one of the happiest times that she ever had is whenever Kimberly would do an inspection of her apartment and she passed. She would call me and say, I passed. Because before Kimberly would come, Sean and Marcia and Betty and Ruth and I would go into her apartment and clean it up a couple of days before and straighten it out as much as we could. But she was always supervising us to make sure that we didn't throw out anything that she really needed. Anyway, she was so happy when Kimberly would say, okay, you passed inspection this time. They're not going to boot you out. I just want to say that Karen's life, I would like to give it a pass. And I would think that each of you, by being here today, are also ready to put your thumbs up for Karen and give her a pass.
Amen.
And Sean, who helped clean her rug and her apartment with us, is a videographer par excellence. And Sean has put together a little 7-minute video that I'd like you to see at this time. And I hope you'll give Sean a pass for his videography work, and I hope you'll give Karen a pass for the life well lived.
But it's always in faith, and I want God to heal her completely. So therefore, Amanda, will you accept this room? This also was my mother's favorite song. It's called Wonderful Words of Life. It means the Bible. So sing them over again to me. Wonderful words of life. Let me more of their beauty see. Wonderful words of life. Words of Amanda, the light of my life, may God give her that make her a gentleman's wife. Amanda, the light of my life, may God make her a gentleman's wife. And thank you, Jesus, you made her. But today I'd like to tell all of you that I really appreciate you praying for her healing. She's not feeling too good today, but she is getting much better, and I thank you for that. what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming.
The rainbow's colors are so neat. The roses bloom very sweet. Bless you every day in a holy way. There's a lot of, things out there of people saying, don't be a Karen. But my mom's name was Karen, and she's a positive Karen. So if I could leave this with anybody, it would be a positive Karen in a world of unkindness.
Because Karen was my mother-in-law's closest friend. So Karen, your legacy will live forever because of the lives that you have touched, as we have witnessed from so many statements.
I met Karen about 30 years ago. She lived in an apartment at 26 in Georgetown, and I lived a few blocks north of her. On one day, I look out my living room window and see a lady struggling to get out of the snowdrift. It was one of those Indiana days. 2 or 3 feet of snow and very cold. I invited her in to get warm, and we became friends.
I have a few funny stories I remember about my mom that I'd like to share. She would say ornery, or what I've heard recently, or somebody came up to me and said she had feisty things to say. So she would say ornery or feisty things, or do something silly and giggle at herself. So one time during a summer outing, with the Van Riekens, my mother handed out gifts near the end of our time, and she handed my friend Abby a gift, and Abby opened her gift, and it was a very, very nice, unopened pin set that the Van Riekens had given her a few months before at Christmas. I immediately looked at David, and he winked at me as to say, it's okay, don't fuss about it. Although after David left, I ended up telling my mom, and she was like, ooh. Then she giggled, her infamous giggle, and exclaimed, well, at least I'm a cheerful giver. Then another time we were at church getting ready for a Southern Gospel Quartet concert. We ate dinner all together beforehand, and she sat next to her dear friend Layton, who was hard of hearing. And so she leaned over at the dinner and said in the loudest voice ever, man, I hope they're good tonight. Just as one of the quartet members walked by. He stopped, looked at my mom, and said, me too! She giggled at her blunder, and we giggled about that for days and weeks on end. My mom and I didn't have the best years together when I was growing up. So when I was 19, I took my mom to the state fair and told her at the top of the Ferris wheel that I had forgiveness in my heart for her. She, from that point on, appointed herself the state fair queen. This started a tradition of taking her to the state fair every year. And as we leave, I stop traffic. I mean, it wasn't a really busy street, so just so you know. But I did stop traffic and say, hear ye, prepare the way for the state fair queen. And she'd walk across the street waving like this. My mom loved fanfare. And when she passed, we hoped she could look down and see how much she was truly loved by many. But a dear friend of mine brought up a new thought I hadn't thought about. What if she's up there right now, so engulfed in the love of God's presence that she doesn't need to know how much she was loved, because she now wholly and truly knows.
Amen.
That brought a smile to my heart and tears to my eyes. She is now walking on streets of gold and forever in the presence of God. I love you, Mom. You will always be my mommy. So I'm sad to say that on June 1st, 2024, the State Fair Queen officially retired from her duties. But for old time's sake, let's experience her joy as a State Fair Queen Mama one more time.
Hear ye, prepare the way for the State Fair Queen.